everybody, Derek here, and today we've got a bunch of stuff on my kitchen counter. We are going to be building a portable Garmin Livescope unit out of this waterproof box that I've got here from Harbor Freight for like 70 bucks. This is a huge waterproof tote that should be able to fit on top. We're going to be mounting with all kayak accessories like our transducer, our FishFinder will be up on top. Everything will be mounted on here. And we've got a battery to go down in here that I got from Walmart. It's an Everstart battery, nothing special. So it's kind of a budget build, waterproof, portable Garmin unit that you can basically take to any boat, put on any place. You can take it to docks, you can take it all over the place and scan to find where those crappie or those bass or whatever you're looking for are at down under the water on the structure. So let's get started on this little build that we got going. All right, well, we got the box here and we got a pre-made plate that I am gonna be putting up underneath this top plate, and I need to figure out how I'm gonna mount these up. So I've got several. This is gonna be for our side Livescope so we can move it all around. All right, we got our box here and we got this plate that are pre-made out of 1/8 inch aluminum that is actually gonna go underneath the box on the inside, but it's gonna kind of squeeze everything together so it has a good mounting surface underneath. So what I plan on doing is taking these kayak mounts that I get from Amazon. These are Scotty mounts. And I'm gonna put them on the top up here. So these things can pull in, pull out. So this mount will sit right here. And when I've got the Livescope and I'm carrying it around or carrying it with this and I need to lock it in, all I gotta do is pop it in there, or I can pull it out and I can adjust it to where it's more towards the front of the boat, or that thing really locked in that time, or towards the back. So with this being the way it is, and I've already made a homemade DIY mount for my actual Livescope here with PVC. I've got PVC, I believe it is 1 inch on the inside of this PVC. So what I do is I take U-bolts and I actually loop them right around through here, and I've got a FishFinder mount right there. So since that'll attach to there, I'm gonna drill holes in this and the U-bolts will actually go right through here and the pipe will sit just vertical like that. So now that I have that mounted on the top there, I've got this. I pop this in right here. Let's see, is that, yeah, that's popped in like that. And now I've got a mount that will basically just kind of chill out right there and hopefully not move. I may have to make it fixed, but it should stay just like that. I may have to take a bungee strap and strap it to here to make it, to keep it from rotating, but I've been just building this box as I go. So I've got that figured out for the actual mount. And then this will be the location for the actual FishFinder here. So this thing will have the mount on the bottom of it for another one of these attachments. I'll attach it just like that. And this one will pop into here and then pop into a mount right there. Now for the transducer, and not the Livescope, the actual depth control, this is meant for a kayak, but as you see down here, the way this one's designed, that ain't gonna work like that because I've got a big old bulky system set up for this thing. So what I had already previously installed was a piece of aluminum, as you see right here, with the transducer mount. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll be able to attach this mount down here and just drill through and attach this thing like this and then just trim it up as needed. I don't know how much drag it's gonna make, but it's gonna be something that I play with. But the goal here is to make this thing a waterproof box for getting out there with a Livescope and being able to put it in any boat, because the problem with these is they're $3,000 basically overall. And once you got it set up, you got to buy it If you want to put it in another boat with the same unit and everything else, it's a lot of money to transfer from one boat to the next. So that way I can use whatever boat I want at any time, and I can use this system in any boat to go find some crappies. So let's get to building this thing. All right, for waterproofing the ports that go inside of here, I do have two that need to be sealed off, and it's these two right here. My power cable that goes to the Garmin unit itself, which plugs into the back. The transducer and the Panoptix I don't have to worry about because they'll stay outside of the box. But this power has to run inside. So what I've got to do is figure out a way to waterproof inside of here. And I have a network cable. No, that's the battery cable. I have a networking cable that plugs into the back of this unit as well. Do I? Yeah. All right, what I've got to figure out is how I'm gonna waterproof the power cable for the actual FishFinder unit. And then I've got the Panoptix unit that comes from the main board that is a networking cable that needs to come back out and plug into the back of the FishFinder. So I've got to make two ports somewhere around in this area that are waterproof that will plug into the back of this. And I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill out a bigger hole with a stepping bit in the plastic and this, and then I'm gonna make another smaller hole, another drill hole that will actually be smaller so I can slide this to where it needs to go. And I am gonna caulk the whole underside of this so it seals in, and if any water does leak onto the top, it won't leak onto the inside. So I think that's my idea. I have another mount that'll be for the actual transducer. Oh, I'll put this one here and those two there. They're the same type. They got the push button on them. So we got those two set. We got our 3 sets here. So I need to figure out where I am going to place this thing. So if I was able to put it towards the back, like so. All right, this one will fit right through there. So our power cable will be just fine for this thing. And then we can fit it through there, and what we do is we drill the hole, but then we shift this whole plate to move it into place, and we silicone on the bottom of it, and it makes a little bitty hole. Even though those look like big holes, it's gonna move the hole. So we're just gonna have to be really particular whenever we actually drill a hole that it's offset a little bit. Place this. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount this yet, but here's our battery cable. Here's our network cable right here that will go into the back of the FishFinder. I figured out where that's going to kind of go, so I've got my mount here, and I've got a huge kit of stainless steel self-tapping screws. And I think I'm going to be using possibly this size or maybe 1 inch. I'm not sure, but let's see here. So it won't leak on the inside. I'm going to put a little heavier down here because there won't be much. And this will also kind of glue to the inside. So put it around this, especially. Once that one goes in, and then this one actually goes out, so we'll fit it right through there. And then we'll simply push this way. we go. Now, of course, this one is gonna have to probably be filled, but I might even fill that with epoxy once I clean all that out and get all that silicone. Might be a good idea to do. They are all definitely in there now. So now we got our mount for the Livescope. And we got the mount for a FishFinder. As you see, get that thing to pop in. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, that, I really don't think that's gonna work. And it's just, this is meant for a kayak and it's not close enough to the boat. So I'm probably gonna have to design something more similar to this that we're gonna be doing for the Livescope mount. Here we go. And then I've got these back keepers that go on the back side with these U-bolts. And I had to notch the back side. Alright, I got the U-bolts on here and I got this FishFinder on the back. I had to notch this plastic for these keepers that go on the back side because of the bracing of this thing. So let's look. Well guys, here it is, the final version. Well guys, here it is, all finished up. I don't have the transducer mounted up yet. I'm gonna do the same arm like I did right here with this FishFinder clamped onto a piece of PVC that goes down, and I'll angle it back this way. That way I can get that transducer right around in here. But this Livescope works perfect on this thing. And it can sit right over the gunnel of the boat. That'll straddle right here. I mean, take this thing off. Oh, if I can do it with one hand. Yeah. Crank her on. Yeah, this is gonna work perfectly, but I had to fabricate right here where the wires are going in. I basically drilled my holes out. I forgot about the Panoptix going to the box, so I had to drill another one, but I made a plate here. So I have a plate on the underside and I have a plate on top here that kind of seals in. I siliconed it and I'll come back with some more silicone. This is still a little bit wet. It'll dry clear, so I think this thing's gonna work out just fine. But I don't know if I can particularly open this thing with it. Yeah, I can. With it hooked up still. So as you see there, we got our battery. I'm gonna kind of place these how I want. I might put a board in there and fasten them down. I really don't know. Probably just a piece of plywood for now. But as you see right there, I've got a plate on the underside as well, which kind of looks like it popped loose a little bit. But yeah, I'll have to make sure this thing is waterproof up here on top so we can take on rain or anything, and this thing will be perfectly fine, and the box down in there will be all right. I know it can take a little bit of water, but yeah, it's turned on, and that's basically it. A DIY portable Livescope setup. So I can put this on a dock, I can put it on the boat, I can transfer it from one boat to the other. So we are fully optional to take this just about anywhere and figure it out. Even the kayak, this thing fits perfectly in the front of my kayak, so I could put it right over the side of the kayak and I could go right over brush piles with this thing. Well guys, she is built. The actual Livescope system is ready to go on a boat. We can go use the Panoptix on some crappie or bass or whatever. We won't know the depth of side imaging and doing all of that stuff because the transducer's not on here, but we can use the Livescope. So we can figure that system out later, but this thing is gonna work just fine, rotating, and it's freestanding. As you can see right there, just like this is the side of the boat going right over the gunnel of the boat off the side. I think this is gonna work. So I'm gonna try this out on some of my boats, and I'm sure I might fine tune it a little bit, but I hope this video helped you guys. But thanks for watching, you guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.